Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over and talking about the Orioles and Rockies game one of this three-game weekend series. And with a heavy heart, I do have to say that the Orioles did lose today to the 2025 Colorado Rockies. I really am speechless. This game ended about 2 minutes ago. Wanted to hop on here and obviously get this recording done. But the Orioles lost to the Rockies 6-5. We'll go over that game in a little bit. There is still a bunch of stuff that happened today in the world of Baltimore sports. One main thing that happened this morning that we're going to go over in just a second is the Baltimore Orioles trading Gregory Soto to the New York Mets for two pitching prospects. One of them that has serious potential to be an Orioles starter. Maybe not soon, but serious potential to make an impact somewhere down the road for the Orioles. Two pitching prospects, one of them not too good, a little bit older, he's 26, but one of them, he is 20 years old, and someone that has been doing pretty well in single A for the Mets, and somebody that can make a big impact down the line for the Orioles, hopefully. But the Orioles do trade Gregory Soto today, the first of possibly many trades that the Orioles will make over these next few days, up until the trade deadline next Thursday. The Orioles traded Gregory Soto. Obviously, Gregory Soto was a solid, okay reliever. I was never the biggest fan of Gregory Soto. You know, his control was a big part of his game, how he just could not really, find the strike zone a lot of the times. And Gregory Soto actually yesterday got the save in that Guardians game. And then today he gets traded. So the Mets wanted a lefty reliever. They go out and get one from the Orioles. I do like the return that we got. The one pitcher that I was talking about, I really liked his stuff. I was looking at some highlights of him earlier. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we know that the Orioles are going to be sellers at this deadline, especially with what happened today, losing to the Colorado Rockies. Just quadruples it even more. As I said before going into the series, I said do not lose a series to the Rockies, and if they lose one of the next two games, they will lose this series to them. So hopefully the Orioles can lock in and win the next two games and win the series and just move on with whatever sort of heart and motivation this team even has left at this point. Obviously, this time of the year is a very, weird time for baseball. Players getting shipped left and right. The trade deadline season is always very interesting in baseball, among other sports for sure. We'll see what moves the Orioles make over these next few days. There might be a trade tomorrow morning. There might be a trade in the next hour. Who knows with baseball anymore. Trades are just going to keep coming through at random times over this next week, and we will just see what has to happen with that. Obviously, I expect the Orioles to make more moves. I expect them to trade Ryan O'Hearn, Cedric Mullins, and then one of two of either Zach Eflin or Charlie Moore, and we'll see what happens. I think the Orioles make 3 to 4 more moves, but we'll see what Mike Elias decides to do with that. Also, in this episode, we're going to be talking about day 3 of Ravens training camp practice. There wasn't a ton of stuff that happened today, but I do want to talk about 3 specific guys today, that being Malachi Starks, Nate Wiggins / Jair Alexander, and Tyler Loop, who, from what I was hearing today, Tyler Loop absolutely stole the show at Ravens training camp. So we're going to be talking about that. And it also kind of gives you a lot of hope moving into the season because, obviously, with the Ravens kicking position, it was kind of the only position that was a very gray area because obviously with Justin Tucker getting released by the Ravens after him being the kicker for 10 plus years, Ravens fans really had never had to worry about a kicker because you obviously had the GOAT on your team for so many years. But now you have a rookie kicker who is really making an impact. We'll talk more about that later. But let's just go over this trade real quick. So going over this Gregory Soto trade to the New York Mets, as you can see here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually see it on the screen. Gregory Soto has been traded to the New York Mets for 2 pitching prospects. And the 2 pitching prospects that we got, one of them, his name is Wellington Aresina. He was a single-A pitcher for the New York Mets, and there was a instance about a couple months ago where he had a 10 strikeout game. His ERA is sitting around a 2.37 in single A. He's doing great in single A. and somebody who, from what I've seen a lot today, has a real possibility to be someone special for the Orioles somewhere down the line in the future. I'm happy that they prioritized getting pitchers and just adding to the pitching depth in the farm. That's what this team needed to do. Obviously, this team is in desperate need for a just reliable pitching starting rotation, and I think with the trade that happened today, it is going to add to that depth even more. So I can't even really complain about it. Obviously, Gregory Soto was not an Oriole for too long. We traded for him at the trade deadline last season, so he was on the Orioles for pretty much a full year, going back to the second half of last year and obviously the first half and a little bit more of this year. But Gregory Soto is a Met. This is the first trade that the Orioles have made. Obviously, I expect a lot more. There was a few other trades that happened. Yesterday, Josh Naylor going to the Mariners, and then I think Ryan McMahon getting traded from the Rockies to the Yankees, and then obviously the Gregory Soto trade that just happened today. So those were really the three notable trades that have happened so far. I do maybe expect some trades maybe in the next couple of hours, and then also tomorrow throughout the day as well, and just as the days go by, things are going to start happening. And usually in trade deadline season, when the first, significant trade happens, then that kind of opens the floodgates to everything else. But obviously, thank you, Gregory Soto, for all the stuff that he did. He did have his highlights as an Oriole. He did go out there and have some good outings as an Oriole. But I remember, in the second half of last season especially, he had some really big lowlights. Just struggling with his control. He would walk a lot of guys, but he does have a good arm. He does have really good velocity with his fastball. So good luck to Gregory Soto moving forward. And obviously this starts the Orioles' potential fire sale going into this trade deadline season. And staying on topic with the Baltimore Orioles, I do want to go over this Rockies and Orioles game because I'm just going to be honest with you guys, it was a little embarrassing. The start of this game was electric. It was an absolutely electric start, and then all of a sudden the game kind of got flipped upside down, and then we were losing, and then we tied the game, and then in the 8th inning, Ezekiel Tovar hit the go-ahead home run, and we eventually lost this game. So in this game, the Orioles are back at home from their 7-game road trip, and the Orioles in this game get 10 total hits. They score 5 runs. Jackson Holliday once again has another fantastic game. Leading off in this game, he goes 3 for 5 with an RBI. He's one of 3 Orioles in this game that had multiple hits. Jackson Holliday, leadoff man, 3 for 5 with an RBI. That's exactly what you want to see from your leadoff guy. Getting on base, having reliability of just getting on base and giving the rest of the batters a chance to bring him home. So Jackson Holliday, 3-hit day. Jordan Westburg went 1 for 4 with a solo home run. Ramon Laureano went 0 for 4. Tyler O'Neill is one of the other 3 players that had a multiple hit day. He actually had a multi-hit day yesterday and today, and I think I saw a stat that it was his first time having multiple hits in back-to-back games since like July of last year. Because obviously Tyler O'Neill, as we know, is not necessarily a big average guy, but he is supposed to be a big power guy and, someone who can just hit the ball pretty damn hard, which is why the Orioles signed him. Obviously, it has not gone according to plan at all. He really hasn't played a lot of games as an Oriole. We knew that he was going to have a little bit of injury concerns when we signed him, and those have come true very much so this season. But Tyler O'Neill was batting cleanup today. He batted 4th today for the Orioles, and he did not disappoint. He went 2 for 4 with a double and a solo home run in this game. And he had that solo home run in the first inning. The first 2 innings for the Orioles were like some of the most exciting moments of the season. The Orioles hit 4 solo home runs in the first 2 innings. Obviously, Jordan Westburg was one of them, and Tyler O'Neill was the other one in the first inning. But Tyler O'Neill, 2 for 4 with a double and a solo home run. Hopefully, he can start to get going a little bit. Hopefully, he can just start to show that power and start to actually get on base more and kind of recover this season that he's had, because in the first half, when he was playing, he wasn't doing anything, but he also just missed a lot of games as well. And sometimes in baseball, the best availability or the best feature of someone is their availability to play for you. So Tyler O'Neill, back-to-back days with multi-hits. Hopefully he can start getting it going this season, because again, he is on a 3-year deal. He is going to be on this team for the next 2 years unless a trade happens. So obviously, you would like to see Tyler O'Neill get back into the season. You'd like to see him produce and do well, because once again, He's someone that you are giving a lot of money to do well, so obviously you want to go out there and see them perform. So shout out to Tyler O'Neill for a good game today. Ramon Urias goes 0 for 3. Cedric Mullins goes 1 for 4. Kobe Mayo goes 1 for 3 with a solo home run. Gets his second home run of his career and second home run of the season. He continues to produce very well at first base, especially. He had a really, really good play in the first inning at first base, a really good pickoff. So Kobe Mayo, once again, he's a full-time first baseman. He usually played a lot of third, and he played a lot of like outfielder and pretty much mostly third down in AAA. But we converted him to a full-time first baseman, and obviously Ryan Mountcastle is our the first baseman that comes up a lot. Ryan O'Hearn as well plays a lot of first, but Kobe Mayo, I think that what the Orioles are going to try to do, especially if there is a Ryan O'Hearn trade. What the Orioles are really going to try and do is have Kobe Mayo really develop and play every single day to hopefully maybe become the everyday first baseman for the Orioles moving forward into the future. Obviously, we know that Kobe Mayo is talented. He was the Orioles' number 2 prospect for so long. He used to be their number 1 prospect, and he has been a consistent top 10 to top 15 prospect in baseball for over the past year now. Obviously, he's not a prospect anymore, but whenever he was a prospect, he was very scouted, very high, and very highly looked at in our farm system. So Kobe Mayo gets his second home run of his career today, his first off of an actual pitcher, because I remember when he got his first home run, it was off of a position player, and everybody was clowning him because he did that shrug celebration. But Kobe Mayo gets his first home run, which is really, really nice to see. Shout out Kobe Mayo. It's going to be really exciting for the rest of the season post-trade deadline to see him playing pretty much every single day, because he is someone that I really wanted to see develop this year. And I think that if we do trade Ryan O'Hearn, he's going to have, the gateways are going to open up completely for him to have that opportunity to become the first baseman for the future for the Orioles. Colton Cowser in this game went 0 for 2. He also made a couple of mistakes out in the outfield. And then Austin Jackson was the other player with a multi-hit day. He goes 2 for 3 with a solo home run and 2 runs scored as well. So shout out to Austin Jackson. He's actually been performing pretty well for being the Orioles' 6th catcher. He's actually been performing pretty well, so shout out to him. Gunnar and Ryan O'Hearn were not in the lineup today. Ryan O'Hearn came in as a pinch hitter late in the game, and so did Gunnar, but it did not matter because the Orioles still lose this game 6-5. Going over to the pitching in this game, Dean Kramer with a extremely disappointing start. As I said yesterday, and as I've said for a lot of the season as well, Dean Kramer has been arguably the most reliable pitcher for the Orioles in terms of the season as a whole. I know that Trevor Rogers has been the best Orioles pitcher, has been the best starting pitcher for the Orioles. He only has 7 starts, so it still is a small sample size, but Dean Kramer has started all year. And going into this game, he has had a solid year. He still has had a solid year stat-wise, but this was a very disappointing start from someone that has been so good this year and also facing a team like the 2025 Colorado Rockies. The only good thing about the stat line is that Dean Kramer was able to fight and goes through 6 innings, but in those 6 innings, he did give up 6 hits, 2 walks, and 5 runs in those 6 innings. So 5 runs in 6 innings for Dean Kramer. His ERA goes up to a 4.23, and he ended up not actually being the losing pitcher in this game because the Orioles were able to come back and tie it, but not a great game from Dean Kramer at all. I was expecting a lot better. Grant Wolfram comes into the game. He shuts it down. He has a perfect inning. Andrew Kittredge does actually get credited the loss in this game because he gave up the go-ahead home run to Ezekiel Tovar in the 8th inning. So Andrew Kittredge gets credited with the loss. He gave up the solo home run. But other than the solo home run, he struck out everyone else. Andrew Kittredge is also someone that could potentially be on the trade market. There's a ton of guys. There's a ton of guys who aren't completely obvious that are also in the trade market. Guys like Seranthony Dominguez, guys like Andrew Kittredge. Obviously, Gregory Soto did get traded today. But a lot of relievers on the Orioles, a couple starting pitchers, and obviously a couple position players for the Orioles as well. But we'll see what happens. As we go in the trade deadline season, tomorrow is going to be Mr. Rogers getting the start for the Orioles, though, as they try and salvage this series and, tie it up and hopefully force a Game 3 rubber match on Sunday. But tomorrow it is going to be Trevor Rogers. Obviously, Trevor Rogers in his 7 starts, he's been elite. a 3-1 record, 1.74 ERA, and they're facing a pitcher, Antonio Salansta, for the Rockies, who is 4-13 on the year with a 6.4 ERA and an almost 2 WHIP. So if the Orioles do not win tomorrow against this pitcher, with our best pitcher pitching in Trevor Rogers, the momentum is completely in our favor, and hopefully the Orioles can go out there and just take care of business and do what needs to be done to just go get a win. Because at the end of the day, all they got to do is just go get a win, force a Game 3, and then win on Sunday, win the next 2 games, and do not lose this series to the Colorado Rockies. And before we end this episode, I do want to go over and talk about a couple things that happened at Ravens Day 3 training camp practice. First things first, DeAndre Hopkins is back at practice after missing Thursday. He is back here at practice, as you can see, number 10 in the flesh, alongside Zay Flowers, alongside Rashad Bateman, alongside the boys at the wide receiver position. As you can see, DeAndre Hopkins is back at practice after missing yesterday due to a knee injury, but he looks back and he looks ready to go. Obviously, Devontae Walker you see over here as well. But another thing that I want to talk about that happened today was about Tyler Loop, who really became like the star of the show here today at Ravens training camp. And the reason why is because he went 10 for 10 on his field goals with a long of 63 yards. 10 for 10 on his field goals, including a 63-yard bomb. He went absolutely perfect today. And again, the Ravens have had Justin Tucker for years, so the Ravens fans never had to worry about another kicker because they had the best kicker in the league for so many years on their team. So having a kicker never really was a thought. You usually when Justin Tucker would come up, you would just automatically think that the ball was going to go through the uprights. But this is the first year now where the Ravens actually had to think about having a new kicker. Obviously, they draft rookie Tyler Loop out of Arizona, who is known for having a power leg, not necessarily the accuracy is there, but having a power leg. And he goes out there and hits a 63-yard bomb and goes 10 for 10. And I think the Ravens also posted that he hit a 68-yarder as well. So I don't know what Tyler Loop is on, but if he can, if he's doing this well in training camp, hopefully he can translate this over to the NFL season and be just as reliable as Justin Tucker was for all of these years. And the Ravens just might have their next franchise kicker set in stone in Tyler Loop. And also a video of Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins, who Nate Wiggins apparently, from what I heard, after yesterday, he had a pretty rough practice yesterday, getting cooked by Rashad Bateman and also just, not doing well on some plays. Today, a lot of the reports were saying that Nate Wiggins had a great day, had a couple of pass breakups alongside Jair Alexander, and this video right here really shows the chemistry that these two are forming out there in the secondary. You can see Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins both doing the seatbelt strap animation, and you can see them dap each other up right there as well. Jair Alexander, Nate Wiggins already getting that chemistry on day 3 of training camp. We'll watch it one more time. Double seatbelt strap, bang! Jair Alexander and Nate Wiggins, and you see Marlon Humphrey hyping them up right there as well. That's the corners, man. Jair, Marlon, Nate Wiggins, arguably and potentially the best corner, and Chidobe Awuzie as well. I keep forgetting about him. He hasn't been out here at practice because he is a little bit hurt, but he still is a great veteran as well. But these are obviously the main 3, Jair, Marlon, and Nate Wiggins. I mean, these 3 are arguably the best corners in the league, cornerback trio in the league. And then obviously the Ravens have one of the best safety duos, if not the best safety duo in the league, in Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. And something I wanted to talk about again was Malachi Starks had a great day as well. He really impressed a lot of guys. He's really been turning heads at training camp and playing like the player that everybody thought he was going to be, and playing like the player that I wanted so very badly in this draft. And the Ravens, like they always do, always end up drafting the right guy at the right time. And Kyle Hamilton was also saying about Malachi Starks is how he is miles ahead of him from when Kyle Hamilton was a rookie. And if Kyle Hamilton is saying that Malachi Starks is ahead of him when he was a rookie, then we are in for an absolute treat for Malachi Starks. Somebody who has very good IQ, a ball hawk at the most. again, this secondary is going to be an absolute movie with Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Chidobe Awuzie at the corner, and then obviously at safety you've got Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks. This defense, especially in the secondary, is built for now and for the future, and I cannot wait for this Ravens season, and I cannot wait for even, past this Ravens season, but for future Ravens seasons as well. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. I know it was a very disappointing day for the Orioles overall. The trade was interesting, the trade was fun, but obviously losing to the Colorado Rockies in 2025 is a rude awakening for this Orioles team, but they've already gone through that multiple times. But if you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up on Spotify. Make sure to like the video on YouTube as well. And if you want more content, check out the Twitter and check out the Instagram. On Instagram, I'm posting updates on every single time I post an episode. And on Twitter, I'm live tweeting every single game, every single trade reaction, live trade reactions, live reactions to stuff going on in the game. So make sure to give that a follow. It's very fun over there. And I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow talking about the Orioles and Rockies Game 3. And then if there is a major Ravens trade that happens earlier in the day, such as Cedric Mullins or Ryan O'Hearn or something like that, if there is a major Orioles trade that happens sometime during the day before the game, I'll have an episode up talking about that kind of as a bonus episode. But if not, I'll be recapping the games tomorrow and talking everything Baltimore sports related tomorrow. And we'll go over Game 2 of this series where hopefully the Orioles can tie this series. So I'll see you on the next one. You have a great rest of your night. I'll see y'all later. I'll have an episode up tomorrow. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.